Hey guys, it's Tim, and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Monday, and that means tonight was Monday Night Raw. And hey guys, guess what? We got a freaking loser in the live chat spewing false information. Says, quote, "You lie. You say contract signing between between Vicur and Io Sky." No, he didn't. Those words never came out of my mouth or off my fingertips to the keyboard. I never made a graphic that said anything was going to happen tonight with Io and Lyra or Stephanie. So you can shove it, son of a gun. Or should I say, fuck it, son of a bitch. Because I never said that. Now you're over here spewing misinformation and making up lies on things that I never said. And it's not like I'm saying, oh, I didn't say it. It came from another report. No, that never came from us as well. So if you're seeing something with the PWU Unlimited logo on it or saying that it's PWU Unlimited that said there was a contract signing tonight on Raw, ain't me, buddy. Ain't me, amigo. So you got me twisted if you're going to call me a liar on something I never reported, on something I never posted, something I never put out there. So you can take it and get the fuck out. That's all I got to say on that one, because I ain't going to be called a liar on something that I didn't report. It's different if you say, hey, you reported da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and it wasn't true, but it was like something we aggregated. Then I'll be like, yeah, that report was wrong. And like the Wade Barrett stuff, for instance. We did the post that said Wade Barrett was pulled from commentary, and then he came back and said, not true. I've been given time off. That one we can go, okay, we didn't lie. We aggregated a story that wasn't correct. This one, it's just nothing at all. There was never anything on any of our channels, our YouTube, or nothing that ever said anything about a contract signing tonight on Raw for anybody. So to come into my live chat, my live stream, and spew that bullshit, yeah, I ain't going to stand for that. I ain't going to have my credibility questioned on bullshit, lies. With all of that, though, I thought tonight's Raw was just all right. I'm going to be honest. I thought tonight's Raw was just all right. And I know everyone's going to want to know what I thought about the AJ, CM Punk, Becky, Seth segment. I thought it went way too long. I thought it went long, very long, to the point where I was getting bored of it. Gonna be honest. Just gonna be honest. We got so much more to talk about here, as I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel, one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, help us out over on YouTube. Help us out over there by hitting that subscribe button. That way you know we post new videos. That way you know we go live. And that way you know we post to the community tab. If you didn't see it this morning, we did a new episode, a Monday episode of the Wrestling Wrap-Up. We talked all about AJ Lee's return to WWE. The, in my opinion, fake fan reactions online because y'all wanted to go viral. Yeah. And we talked about not AJ Lee, but AJ Styles. We talked about Dakota Kai and a little bit more. But remember, guys, if you want to support the channel in another way, you can use it by hitting the join button and becoming a channel member. As a channel member, you get access to our graphics tutorials, our graphics packages. You get a badge next to your name and emotes and emojis that you can use in the live chat. Also, remember that if you want to support us on YouTube, you can do so with donating a super chat to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air. Now, Wayne, that's a good question. Now, he says, Joe and Corey, new Raw commentary team going forward. Michael Cole and Graves are SmackDown. So for now, Wade's gonna be back in a couple of weeks. He's got a couple of weeks off that he was given. And my big question, though, is what are they doing with SmackDown on Friday? Who's gonna be there with Michael Cole if Corey Graves has to be in Vegas for AAA, for Worlds Collide? So the big question is, who's doing commentary with Michael Cole Friday on SmackDown? Again, Corey Graves has got to be in Vegas. SmackDown comes to us from, let's double check this. I know it's not Vegas. Even at that, I don't even think there would be enough time for Corey to do a show in Vegas, then get to the other venue to do the other show. And yeah, SmackDown, we're in Norfolk, Virginia. So I don't know who's going to be jumping on to help out Michael Cole on Commentary Friday. Well, I don't know, Booker? So one thing I could think of, like, who else do they got? JBL? Trying to think. Who else do they have that can do color? I don't see them doing like a Vic Joseph, and you're not going to have Michael Cole and Vic on the same broadcast team. But yeah, the only names that I can think of, because Corey's doing Worlds Collide on Friday, but he confirmed that tonight. It's maybe Booker. Maybe they call and bring in JBL. Then the other question is JBL going to be on the Worlds Collide broadcast? Because we did see him do Triple Mania with Corey Graves and Conan. So we don't know who else is on that broadcast. So really, if you think about it, might just end up being Michael Cole and Booker. I doubt Michael Cole calls it by himself. But maybe they just find some, I don't know. Screw it. You want an off-the-wall situation or fill in? Cole, Kevin Owens. Put Kevin Owens on commentary with Michael Cole. That'd be pretty good. Give that guy something to do. But with all of that, we have Monday Night Raw to talk about. Monday Night Raw did open up tonight. It was from, where were they tonight, actually? I do not know. They were in, I don't have it here. I do not have it here. Oh, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. There we go. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Wisconsin, eh? But the show opens up. We got a recap of AJ Lee's return. Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins were shown arriving at the building. Lynch without her Intercontinental Championship. And I didn't notice that at first. I actually, once AJ came out with the belt later, went back and looked and go, oh, she didn't have it at the start. Okay. And Becky was all pissed off. She's like, get the camera out of my face. And she shoves it and takes off. And Seth's just like, oh, shit, she's pissed. We hear Joe Tessitore's voice throughout all of this to finally realize that commentary is Joe and Graves. They then said, Wade Barrett is on vacation. And Corey goes, yeah, but I thought the internet told us over the weekend that Barrett had been exiled. I'm like, oh, Lord, Corey Graves. Shots fired. PWU Insider. Because they were the ones that put out the report. Let me turn this fan on. It's getting a little warm in here. But as the show opens up, we get the Usos kicking things off. Jay's music hits. He comes out through the crowd. Day one. Day one is my day one. He comes about halfway down before his brother joins him, and it's Jimmy and Jay yeeting as the crowd is singing his song. Jay spoke briefly about Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed before they quickly interrupted. Breaker told Jimmy that he must be lost since you're a SmackDown wrestler and the vision runs Raw. Breaker got flustered in his promo, which is not great to see. So he suddenly snapped like he wanted to hit the ring, but Reed had to hold him back. He kind of feels like he forgot his lines or something and then was just like, fuck it. Let's just fight. Jimmy then told him to watch his mouth. Jimmy made some crack comparing them to J&J Security. They also made quick quips about Paul Heyman, calling him an orca instead of the Oracle, which I found pretty funny. And then they quoted Reigns by calling him a dumbass. The Usos then said, hey, you guys want to fight? We want to fight. WrestlePalooza. You two versus us two. And the match was officially made later on in the night that it will be the Vision, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed against the Usos, Jimmy and Jay at WrestlePalooza. One of 2 tag matches announced on tonight's show. Everything was then suddenly interrupted by LA Knight, who attacked the Bronze. The Usos then helped out, but some miscommunication between Knight and Jay led to Jay getting squashed by Reed in the corner. Jimmy then got rid of Reed with a super kick, and Jay and Knight argued as the segment did come to a close. So all this really was to build up the end of the show. All this really was to build up the main event and tension still going between Jay and LA Knight and what we see at the end of the show. And also, someone just sent me a message. I need to check. Someone just sent me a message that says, check Jay's Instagram. So let's go to Jay Uso's Instagram. You're live on stream. Why can't I? Okay, what is Jay Uso's Instagram? Jay Usi or something like that? Usi J? Jay Usi, something like that. Hold on, let's just do it this way. Jay Uso Instagram. Usi Juicy. That's what it is. That's what it is. Someone said check his Instagram story. So it says, I'm back. Jay Uso spears LA Knight. What does I'm back mean, though? Interesting. Okay. Remember what Roman told him. You gotta put you first. It's all about you. So we'll see what that all plays into. That's an interesting one. I'll thank you, Jack Dawson, for the super chat. Just keep up the good work. 2 questions. Is there a good chance the Wyatt 6 hold the tag titles till Mania 42? Then maybe Becky and AJ Lee IC titles soon. So to answer the first part of your question here, Wyatt 6 holding them titles till Mania? Doubtful. I highly doubt that they hold those titles for another October, November, December, January, February, March, April. 7 months. I highly doubt they hold those titles for 7 straight months. And Becky and AJ Lee title soon, IC title soon. That's my prediction. My prediction with WrestlePalooza, and I said this last night. I think it was on. No, it may have been this morning on. Well, I said it on a stream within the last 24 hours. I think WrestlePalooza goes. AJ pins Becky. AJ becomes #1 contender, and then at Crown Jewel in Perth, AJ, Becky, IC title on the line, where I think AJ should win it. So yeah, I do think that we get AJ Lee and Becky Lynch for the IC title soon. It makes a lot of sense. As we move forward, they did tell us, hey, just so you know, next couple of weeks, SmackDown's starting an hour early. Just be cognizant and aware. Basically, Netflix wanted to do an experiment. This week is going to be normal, and they're going to see the numbers against Monday Night Football. Then the next couple of weeks, they want to see what the numbers are going an hour earlier to where less of the show is against Monday Night Football, if not most of the show is not against Monday Night Football. So that's the reasoning for the change in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I want to say it is. But just, guys, remember, Raw will be starting at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific for the next 2 to 3 weeks. At least that's what's on WWE's website. They only mentioned on the broadcast next week early. They didn't say next week and a couple weeks later. They just said next week. So next up, we got AJ Styles coming out. Got a hair on my mouth. That was weird. Anyways, next up, we got AJ Styles coming out. He's going to be facing El Grande Americano and cut a very interesting promo that some of you may have missed because it was during the break. AJ came out and talked about being alone. He put up a too sweet sign before having to put it down because he's got no one to too sweet. He literally said Gallows and Anderson aren't here. Michin's over on SmackDown. And then goes, and I feel like this is I felt like someone may have orchestrated this to make me all alone. Get them out of my way. Make me feel not wanted. And I'm like, what the fuck is this promo? This is interesting. And the fact that they only did it during the break, it wasn't on the actual main broadcast. So like once they removed, because if you guys don't know, if you don't go back and watch Raw later on Netflix, when you go back later, even 3 to 4 minutes after so when you go to Raw on Netflix and there's a commercial break, when you rewind, it just rewinds or fast forwards past the break. The breaks are removed. And even during the live broadcast, if say something happens during a break and you try to rewind during the live broadcast and it's been like a couple of minutes since the break, it's just going to take you to before the break and the break's gone. So unless you got some video of this, which a lot of people clip this out and put it on Twitter, a lot of people missed this and didn't see this and can't go back to see it because when the, like I said, when the ads get taken out, when the ad breaks, it's just gone into the ether. So this is a very, very interesting promo by AJ talking about being alone, name dropping specifically Gallows and Anderson are gone. Meechan's on SmackDown. Like Meechan on SmackDown, okay, cool, whatever. But saying Gallows and Anderson, I'm like, what? I don't think they're coming back. I don't see those guys coming back for a third time, being released twice by the company to come back again. I just don't see that. And also, I don't see this as AJ saying, hey, yeah, I don't like it here. I'm leaving soon. They wouldn't let him say that on TV. Like, what? I was so confused by all this. But after the break, LA Knight said that he didn't care about the Usos reunion or whatever the match they won at WrestlePalooza. If Jay had a problem with him, they could deal with it face to face. Knight wanted one of the Brawns in a match tonight. Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, LeBron James, little Brawny Charles Bronson. I don't care who it is. He's like, I'm pissed off and I want to fight a Braun. So he ended up getting Bronson Reed in the main event. I thought that was funny when he's like, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, LeBron James, little Brawny Charles Bronson. I don't care who it is. It popped me. It popped me big. Then we got AJ Styles versus El Grande Americano. Or should I say, Ludwig Kaiser, or as Luke likes to call him, El Grande Amerikaiser. So Styles attacked Kaiser during his entrance and beat the crap out of him until the referee decided to start the match. Styles clotheslined him out of the ring. Styles continued to beat him up and seemed to be on the verge of a quick victory, but as he set up for a phenomenal forearm, a second El Grande came out in a tracksuit. And people have been saying, oh, it's Tyler Baton and Pete Dunne. But they actually showed us a good, close-up. It didn't, to me, look like either of them. So I don't know who this extra El Grande is. But it's like, yeah, could it be Pete Dunne? Maybe. But I, for some reason, don't think it is. Yet Meltzer has reported in the past that it is, but maybe tonight wasn't. Maybe tonight was somebody else. I don't know. Kaiser did take control with this. Styles made his comeback when they returned from a break and hit a rack bomb for a 2. Kaiser begged off and backed into the corner. Styles then fell for it, so Kaiser dropped him over the top rope and hit a blockbuster for a 2. Styles was then about to go for a Styles clash, but stopped because, well, the masked man jumped back up on the apron. Dragon Lee would then run out and take him out, and Styles gave Americano the Styles clash to pick up the victory. AJ and Dragon Lee then celebrated in the ring after AJ's win. And I got to pull up CM Punk's Instagram. He doesn't tweet. CM Punk had a very, very good post here. Let me see. Where is it? CM Punk. CM Punk. Pull this up on the screen. This is a funny one. This is a funny one. Actually, we got 2 that we're going to show you that are kind of funny. First off, Punk's on the road. AJ's now on the road. You can't leave Larry home alone. Larry took Triple H's job. Larry took a lead producer, head creative tonight, sit in Triple H's seat. But this is what I was talking about. AJ Lee. That's funny right there. CM Punk man, AJ Lee. What? Oh, I didn't pause it. There we go. But yeah, this was a funny post for CM Punk to make. AJ Lee. This man loves his Instagram stories. This man loves making Instagram stories. I'll say that for sure. But as we move on forward, Adam Pearce informed Io Sky that Stephanie McCure couldn't make it to Raw tonight. The contract signing was off. And I'm like, well, first off, they never announced a contract signing ahead of time, so I was so confused as to what this all was anyways. And then he goes, but I assure you she'll be ready to go by WrestlePalooza. And I'm still just like, wait, what? Is she injured or something? I don't know. But Nikki Bella then came up and was just like, "Hey, I know you and Stephanie are gonna have a great match at WrestlePalooza. I want to wish you good luck. Stephanie's my girl, and I'm just like, I don't get what all this is. Why is Nikki keep going up to Stephanie or Io? And I feel like I got something in my nose. Why does she keep going up to Io just to say, Stephanie's my girl. Stephanie's my girl. Like, talking shit or something? Like you're subtly trying to say, you're great, but I think Stephanie's going to beat you. And like, Stephanie ain't her girl anyways. You fucking said her name wrong, got her on your podcast, and then tried to make it a thing. It's not. Not at all. But Asuka then comes up and says, hey, you leave her alone. Nikki's like, Asuka, I got respect for you, but what's all this about? Asuka then laughed and said, oh, how about I beat you up and beat some respect into you? And Nikki's like, okay, sure, let's fight. Kairi Sane's like, I'm sorry, I don't know what's gotten into her. And then you hear, Kairi! Kairi Sane's like, whoa, gotta go. And then they did that later too, and they just dragged it out too long. There's a couple things on the show dragged out a little too long. But this did set up Nikki Bella versus Asuka later in the show. Moving forward, they claimed that all clips of AJ Lee's return from SmackDown over all of WWE social media accumulated 178 million views. They then aired a video package highlighting her career, her run as Divas champion multiple times, and this was great. I thought this was a perfect video package, especially for all them goobs who are like, what should we care about AJ? All these newer fans. Trust me, I talked about it this morning. I've had a lot of comments on my posts saying, oh, why should we care about her? She was the Divas champion. No one was good back then. Like, okay, yeah, sure. They're the same people that'll praise everything Natty and Naomi do, who were from that era. Just saying. But speaking of the new generation of women's wrestlers, is Lyra Valkyria versus Raquel Rodriguez. Pretty good match. Raquel had the advantage early on. She got it after Lyra climbed to the top and tried to go for a crossbody, but was caught. Rodriguez wrenched Valkyria back first against the ring post before hitting consecutive corkscrew elbows to the back. Rodriguez continued to work over the back during a break, but Valkyria made a comeback with a spinning heel kick and sort of like I guess you could say bulldog jawbreaker into a DDT. Rodriguez, though, followed this up with a rope-assisted vertical suplex for a 2. Valkyria went for a sunset flip powerbomb, but Rodriguez held on to the ropes, so he couldn't really get it. But eventually, Valkyria hung from Rodriguez. Like this, you got to see this spot. Like, you won't believe what I'm trying to say here. So she tried to do the flip over Raquel, but like Raquel was holding on to the ropes. So Lyra was literally upside down, holding on to the back of Raquel. And then eventually, like, she like sat up, powered down, grabbed her, powerbomb. It was a cool looking spot. Greg's put over Rodriguez's strength here, but it was really all Valkyria that made everything look so impressive, to be completely honest. Valkyria tried going for a Nightwing, but dropped Rodriguez. Basically, she played it up like she was too heavy for her, bigger girl, and hurt her back. Also, we're about to get a tweet probably from Seth Rollins. It says, I hate football because after leading a lot of this game, his Bears are about to lose to Minnesota. Ooh, flag with 5 seconds to go. Anyways, so the two are fighting. Valkyria then went to the top rope. Rodriguez brought her down with a Tahana bomb and pinned her to pick up the victory. So there we go. Lyra Valkyria does get beaten by Raquel Rodriguez, which is an interesting move, if I do say so myself. Even commentary was like, if Raquel could beat somebody of the caliber of Lyra, it could really propulsion her to like greater, bigger things. Corey was over there talking about how Raquel said she wants more opportunities, and Lyra is somebody that in beating Lyra will push you, make you look better to get those opportunities. So I'm like, you really think Lyra is on that level? But I guess because she's former first Intercontinental Champion, sure. War Raiders met with Penta in the back before Penta met with Pierce. Penta said everybody loved Penta when he got to WWE, but he wondered why Pierce didn't love him as much. Pierce wondered what he meant, so Penta told him that the Intercontinental Championship was, he said something in Spanish, I don't know. And then Penta basically said, I want a title match. Rusev interrupted. He reminded Pierce that his plan was for him to return, crush Rusev, or Sheamus, and get a title shot. Penta got in his face and goes, oh, I want a title shot. And basically Adam Pierce was like, you know what? How about you two fight it out, and we'll see who the better man is. AJ Styles thanked Dragon Lee for having his back. Jimmy Uso approached them and said hi and asked where Jay was. He couldn't find his brother. Jimmy saw Jay nearby. Jay had his bag and it seemed like he was leaving the building. Jimmy said they had a play to run, and, well, helping LA Knight against Reed was part of that play. Jay's like, I don't care about helping him or any of that. Jay didn't appreciate what happened earlier, and helping Knight wasn't going to help them at all because he's not going to help him, and that's not going to help Jay get the world title back, and it's just a circle of nothing that's going to work out right. Jay was then pissed and said that they should all acknowledge the Usos or they'll smash them. Jimmy said Jay was starting to sound like Roman. And we got that too later with the way that you hit that hard looking spear on LA Knight at the end of the show. So then we got AJ Lee. AJ Lee came down to the ring and got a huge ovation and reaction from the live crowd as she is wearing the Women's Intercontinental Championship around her waist. She wanted to introduce herself to the fans who may not have been around 10 years ago and said, I am your millennial parents' favorite wrestler. Heck, I'm your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. And I'm like, she ain't that wrong on any of that. She said, I retired 10 years ago because I thought I had accomplished everything there was to do in wrestling. She didn't plan on ever getting back into the ring wearing these short jeans that are 2 sizes too small and putting on the Chuck Taylors. So she went on another journey to accomplish so many other dreams she had in life. And she did, including being she goes like this, New York Times bestseller. And then like someone in the crowd says something, she goes, yes, I did do it first before Becky. I thought that was funny. She also said that she had to go on a mental health journey because she was not healthy. She wasn't healthy and needed to take care of herself and get right. She said, I went and had therapy. And the crowd cheered. And she goes, yeah, therapy is great. So the crowd starts chanting, therapy, therapy, therapy. She took all the mental chaos and turned it into her superpower, which, crazy is my superpower, the name of her book. She said every day was a fight. But the fight's well worth it. And if you are feeling the same ways that she has, it's worth fighting for. You are worth fighting for. She felt really good for a long time. Then she was watching Raw last week and said, well, healing is linear. It's one thing when you see your husband out there and he's fighting a Drew McIntyre, he's fighting a Seth Rollins or a John Cena. But it's another thing to see your man in the ring with a Becky Lynch. AJ wanted to like Becky. She said, we're similar in a lot of ways. We're both leaders. We're both rebels. We do things differently. We're both New York Times best-selling authors. When I saw when I saw Lynch motorboating my husband and then putting her hands on him and defaming him, oh no, I knew something had to happen. This is when Becky would come out and interrupt. She said this was not about AJ's stank-ass husband. She thought everyone was insane and pointed out Lee is wearing her title, where she goes, oh, I am? Huh. I didn't even realize that. I spent all weekend in the house skipping around. I had it at the hotel last night and got a little weird with it this morning. Lynch then got into Fan's face, who was yelling at her. And she's like, no, I am great. I'm the greatest there ever was. As Sports Illustrated, the Chicago Tribune, the Milwaukee, Wisconsin Wine. And just naming off random. Because now it's getting to the point where, yes, Sports Illustrated says she's the greatest female pro wrestler of all time. But then whatever city they're in, she's going to say that their big newspaper also said it. It's getting a little annoying. And it's like, you look at that list of greatest female pro wrestlers of all time, and it's like, yeah. Well, actually, let's pull that list up. I haven't seen it since it first came out. Sports. I want to look at something. Greatest female wrestlers. Where is that list? February 27th, 2025. Alundra Blaze, Bianca Belair, Asuka, Chyna, Bayley, Sasha, Lita, Trish, Charlotte, Becky. For AJ Lee to not be on that list, really nobody of that era to be on that list. Even, and I've said it before, I'm not the biggest Nikki Bella fan. I thought Nikki Bella was whatever in the ring. But Nikki Bella, and maybe this list is just bell to bell, but Nikki Bella was very instrumental in the change of the women's division because her getting eyeballs on the women's division with Total Divas and Total Bellas and all the stuff she was doing outside of the company. So for like nobody of that era, it literally, you got Trish and Lita. So you've got the Attitude Era with Chyna and Alundra Blaze. Then you go to the Ruthless Aggression era with Lita and Trish. Then you skip the entire Divas era. And then you got Sasha, Charlotte, and Bayley. Like, really? Most of this makes sense. Like, Becky probably should be number one. But AJ Lee, I don't know where she would fit. I'd have to really think about it. But she should be on this list. Honestly, Nikki Bella should also be on this list. But then you get to the point of, well, who gets removed for both of them? Lita and Bayley, probably. Like, nothing against Bayley. She's phenomenal. She's great. But when you think of like the impact of certain people that certain people had on the business, and maybe again, this is just all bell to bell. Like, what's the prerequisites of this? Maybe instead of Bayley, Bianca, because Bayley's just done more so far. But it says about WWE history, many female wrestlers have stood head and shoulders ahead of the pack, whether it's dominating every other woman or moving over to compete against the men. These ladies have defined what it means to excel in the company. Based on their career accomplishments in the company, match quality, promo, character work, impact, influence. Okay, yeah, see, that right there shows me that Nikki Bella and AJ Lee should be on this list. So, yeah, just saying. Kind of a shit list. Who wrote this list? Let's see. Who wrote this list for Sports Illustrated? Sid Polar 3. I have no clue who that is. No clue who that is. But Becky comes down and she's yelling at the fans, I don't suck, you guys suck, and blah, 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 blah. And well, the crowd told Becky that she sucks. Becky then says, you know what, after all this, maybe I do need therapy. And the crowd starts chanting for therapy again. And AJ kind of laughed. She says, yes, therapy does work. Therapy does work. Lee then claimed that she forgot she was wearing the title. So she took it off. And she laid it down in the ring and said, Becky, you can come get it. Lee said the Lynch may be one of the greatest of all time. So if she wanted her belt back, she can come get it. And Lynch wondered where CM Punk was and wondered what kind of man hides behind his wife. This had nothing to do with AJ, which is weird because earlier she said this has nothing to do with your husband. So I don't know. This is when everything started to get a little weird and awkward. And I'm like, this is going too long. She said that AJ stuck her neck where it didn't belong. Lynch called out Rollins so Lee can see what a real hot champion, a great man looks like. Rollins entered and told Lee to give back the title. Lee then offered Lynch a chance to get her belt. And then, let's see, where was it? My notes just froze. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me click the refresh. Scroll all the way back down. Here we go. Lee offered Lynch a chance to get her title belt back right now so she could give her another black eye. Or they could have a tag match at WrestlePalooza. AJ Lee and CM Punk versus Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. Rollins explained they're the champions and they call the shots. Said he was going to get in the ring and get the title back for his wife. Lee thanked him for mansplaining it all to him. Rollins stepped into the ring, but Lee stepped over the title and got in his face. CM Punk would appear and was about to hit Rollins with a GTS, but Rollins escaped. Rollins was so pissed off that when he got out of the ring, he said, fine, you want a tag match? We accept. We'll see you at WrestlePalooza. And Becky's like, whoa, hey, no, I didn't agree to this. Nope, what are you doing, Seth? Stop. Nope, So, yeah. It was a good way to reintroduce AJ Lee, but I just felt like it went so long. Way longer than it really actually needed to. Like, this went too long. To the point where I lost interest, to be completely honest. We then get a video of Bayley. She's just talking, I never wanted to disappoint anybody, and especially Lyra at that. And then you hear like voices in her head. What are you worried about Lyra for? What does that matter? And then you hear the other Bayley. Hey, it's gonna be okay. Lyra will forgive you. But and then the other Bayley again talking shit. And yeah, very weird. So then we had Rusev versus Penta. That's a pretty good match. I thought these two worked very well together. Rusev held control until Penta fought back after a commercial break. But of course, we needed a distraction. So the New Day would come out with Grayson Waller. Penta wiped them all out with a dive. He was about to hit another dive, but Rusev blocked it. Back in the ring, Penta caught Rusev with the code red for a near fall. Telstar called it a Mexican destroyer, and Graves goes, no, this is slightly different. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck, Corey? For a third time in a row, though, somebody hopped up on the apron because we had to have that in just about every match tonight. Penta kicked Xavier Woods off the apron before flying off the top rope. Rusev caught him in midair. Machka kicked him and pinned him in an 8.5-minute match. There we go. Rusev gets a big old victory. Cool. I mean, it was a good match, but I was a little annoyed with the New Day stuff at ringside. They then plugged that Brock Lesnar will be on SmackDown on Friday. Jimmy Uso then approached LA Knight backstage. Jimmy said that they should be on the same page against the Vision. Knight wasn't interested in anyone's help anymore after, everything that's gone down. He said he tried to play nice. Went out, but got a super kick to the mouth. Knight also recalled being cost the world title by both Jay and Jimmy on separate occasions. He's like, me against your cousin, and Jay against, in that big four-way and whatnot. So he said if Jimmy wanted to help, you should just stay in the back. Stay out of the way. Knight's got a plan. And he's doing it alone. Next up, we had Nikki Bella versus Asuka. This is their first ever meeting in singles competition. Because remember, was it the first women's rumble? They were the final two. Asuka dodged a baseball slide early on and hid behind Kyrie. Nikki shoved Sane aside, allowing Asuka to kick her in the face. She took over, and as we go to a break, coming back from the break, Asuka hit a German suplex, but Nikki avoided a missile drop kick and fought back with some strikes and a springboard kick for a 2. Asuka hit some strikes of her own, but Nikki blocked, and Asuka locked it in a Alabama slam for a 2. Excuse me. Asuka then hit her roundhouse kicks. Excuse me. Ooh, I got the hiccups all of a sudden. Spinning heel kick, and then applied the Asuka lock to make Nikki tap out. Had a 10.5-minute match that was okay. I mean, I thought they worked well together, and it was better than I expected, but it wasn't really that special. It's just going to probably lead to a tag match, as we'll see here in a moment. So they announced a couple of things for next week's show in Massachusetts. So it'll be AJ Lee, CM Punk going face-to-face with Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. Lyra Valkyria versus Roxanne Perez, and John Cena will make a big appearance. Remember, John Cena is technically a Raw roster member now. So we go to the Judgment Day's clubhouse. And Finn Balor and JD McDonough are wondering, hey, where's Dom? Have you guys seen Dom? Balor didn't like Dom hanging out with El Grande Americano. Dom showed up and goes, hey, what's going on? Like, where you been? We've been looking for you all night. He goes, oh, don't worry about it. It's all good. Like, you talking to El Grande? He's like, yeah, no, it's fine. I was like, well, what you talking to him about? He's like, did nothing, just lucha things. You guys wouldn't understand. And the camera pans over to show the two other Mexicans in the room, freaking Roxanne and Raquel. And they kind of look perturbed when he says, lucha things, you guys wouldn't understand. Dom was upset. They got tossed from ringside last week and was like, hey, I didn't ask for El Grande to help, but I mean, I needed the help once you guys weren't allowed out there. So, yeah. And so Dom storms off, and Roxanne's just like, maybe I need to go speak to him. So Asuka confronted Nikki Bella in the back. Kairi's trying to hold her back. Asuka said that what I did to you, tell Stephanie that Io's gonna do to her. And Nikki, who had just tapped out, acted tough and was like, "Oh, you want to go round 2, Asuka?" And like, Nikki Bella's never a good promo. And they kind of argued back and forth. Finally, the camera pans out and Rhea Ripley's standing there, and she's like, "Hello." And so Ripley's like, "Hey, we got a problem here. We need to take care of something." Asuka then called herself the top woman of WWE. So Ripley reminded Asuka that Sky, not her, is the one that's getting a world title shot. Asuka quickly told her, "Zip it," and left. Kairi kind of just stood there and was like, I gotta wait till she yells. I gotta wait till she yells. Like, this is awkward. Kairi's just standing there going, I gotta wait till she yells. I gotta wait till. And then she's like, Kairi! And she's like, fakely, like, just over the top, jumps up. Ah! Oh, sorry, gotta go. And then runs out like, It was funny the first couple of times. But the way, like, they waited and waited and waited. I'm like, she's gonna say Kairi. She's gonna say, is she ever gonna fucking say Kairi? So, yeah. Kid Vision says a good question. Weren't Trish and Lita part of the Attitude Era too? Technically, yeah. But kind of half and half. Well, Trish and Lita came in around 99 to 2000. So from that would be 99 to 2000, 2000, 2001, 1 to 2. 3 years. See, here's the thing. 3 years in the Attitude Era. The Ruthless Aggression Era started 2002. They were 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 years in the Ruthless Aggression Era. So actually, yes, you could say they're from the Attitude Era, but there were more Ruthless Aggression Era than Attitude Era. Just saying. So then we had our main event. It was LA Knight versus Bronson Reed. But before we get into all of that, we got to hear from our sponsor. Let's be real. Life moves fast and dinner shouldn't slow you down. That's where Factor comes in. Factor 75 delivers fresh, never frozen meals straight to your door so you can skip the grocery store, the prep, and the cleanup. Just heat and eat and get back to crushing your day. Whether you're keto, calorie conscious, or just want to eat clean without sacrificing flavor, Factor has chef-crafted options that actually taste like real food. Maybe you want pancakes for breakfast, chicken for lunch, and a steak for dinner. Factor has you covered. And here's the kicker. These meals are ready to go in just 2 minutes. That's less time it takes to scroll through your delivery app and regret your choices. So if you want to fuel your hustle without any hassle, then sign up for a Factor 75 subscription today. Use our code below, scan the QR code on the screen, or use our link in the description to get 50% off your order. Eat smart, live fully with Factor. And we're back. So we had LA Knight versus Bronson Reed in the main event. This match went about 11 and a half minutes. And I'm going to be honest, first half of this match, it was a nothing happening match. Really a nothing happening match. It kind of it gets going there about the 5-6 minute mark. But it's still not really doing anything. And nothing until like the 9-minute mark, if I'm being completely honest. One point, Knight avoided a charge to the outside. And there was a lot of Braun Breaker hyping up Bronson Reed and like kind of trying to get involved, but not really trying to get involved. Like I said, Knight avoided a charge on the outside of the ring. Reed then fell into the timekeeper's area. Back in the ring, Reed blocked a neck breaker, but Knight dodged a senton and hit a diving elbow for a 2. Knight went for a BFT, but Reed shoved him. And Knight bumped Breaker off the apron. Knight then stumbled back into Reed, who hit a Death Valley driver for a surprise pinfall and the victory. Crowd seemed kind of caught off guard here, as they didn't know how to really react. And then Corey let us know, hey, this move is called, I think it's Corey Graves. One of the commentary let us know, this is not a Death Valley driver, it is the Jagged Edge. They are not calling his version of the Death Valley driver a Jagged Edge. And Joe Tessitore screamed it like 4 or 5 times. It's the Jagged Edge! The Jagged Edge! The Jagged Edge, Corey! So after this, the Brawns started attacking LA Knight. So Jimmy Uso does run out to try to make the save, but Breaker cut him off with a spear. Jay eventually runs down. but Breakker speared him too. Knight attacked the Bronze with a chair and ran them off. Knight helped Jimmy to his feet. Jay, then out of nowhere, suddenly spears LA Knight, like hard, to a mixed reaction from the crowd, if I do say so myself. Jay then said, "We're even," as the show went off the air. So yeah, very interesting move there at the end with Jay Uso giving old LA Knight one of the best spears I've ever seen Jay hit, to be honest. One of the best spears I've ever seen Jay hit. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was a pretty good episode of Monday Night Raw. I wouldn't call it great by any means, but it was a pretty good show. With that, I said everything I had to say about this show. Not really anything else I can say, but I want to know what you guys thought as we go and check all the polls. So as we refresh these polls here, and here, as far as the Threads poll does go, 75% liked the show, 25% thought it was just all right. Looking at the Twitter poll, 76% liked the show, 17% didn't, and 6% thought it was just all right. Looking at the community poll, 81% liked the show, 14% thought it was just all right, and 5% didn't like it. Looking at the live poll, 91% liked the show, 6% thought it was just all right, and 3% didn't like it. Finally, on Twitch, 75% liked the show, 25% didn't like it. With that, guys, that is going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. With that, we'll be back live on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite. Have a good night, and I'll see you next time.